everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, September 27th, 2020. Autumn has arrived in Genoa City. I love it. I love it so much. I love when the sets change and you have a sense that the seasons have changed in Genoa City. Did you see all of the beautiful fall foliage in Chancellor Park? I just love the way the maple leaves wrapped themselves around the poles of the gazebo. You know, the way that leaves do, the way that leaves of a tree wrap themselves around other things that are not near a tree. I just love it. I just love all of the fall colors, all of the fall fashions. I mean, I am seeing a whole lot of browns and dark reds and orange and olive green. We are getting animal prints and leather galore this week. And let us not forget the perennial favorite, plaid. You know it's fall when everything turns to plaid. The big question on my mind, though, is will there be some kind of fall festival in Genoa City this year, or is it canceled? I hope for a fall festival, but there's no children. That's the thing. I mean, usually they trot the kids out to take them to a fall festival, pick some pumpkins. That's how you know you're in the Midwest. But I don't know if that's gonna happen this year. I hope we at least get Halloween this year. I hope Halloween is not canceled on Y&R this year. I love fall. I just love fall. And I was also noticing all of the gorgeous fall decor at Sharon's house and at the coffee house. Both places are looking just so warm and so good smelling. Sharon's house and the coffee house look warm and good smelling. Maybe a candle, a muffin, fresh baked muffin wafting through the air. A pumpkin muffin wafting through the air at Sharon's house and at the coffee house. Yes. I suspect that we have Rey to thank for that. Sharon's place and Sharon's place of business are looking better than ever, thanks to Rey. Sharon's got Rey walking around in an apron, practically. But we also have those home renovation shows to thank for the fact that Rey's got the places looking so good right now. We now know that Sharon loves home renovation shows, and so I'm sure that Rey has been trying to keep her happy by doing some home renovations around the house and the coffee house, you know, because there's nothing Rey wouldn't do to make Sharon happy. Sharon's got Rey going to the grocery store, the bank, the library, the cleaners. She had a huge list of things that he was taking care of for her this week. And on his way home, he decided to also pick up some flowers and some truffles. Good Lord, the man ordered up some of Sharon's special post-surgery lotion just because he happened to notice that she was low on it. What a guy. What a dream guy. I don't know, everything appears to be back to absolutely perfect between Sharon and Rey. Last week it's ancient history now. There's no need to even mention the whole Adam thing ever again. It's over. Which can only mean that Sharon is going to be right back to hovering over her phone next week, waiting for text messages from Adam after she gets a push notification to her phone alerting her to the new story, the new hot story at Chancecom titled The Making of a Monster starring Adam Newman. Oh, you better believe Sharon is going to react to that. Surgery or no surgery. Sharon will probably even skip her surgery to go check on Adam and make sure that he's all right after this story is published. I hope not. I hope she at least gets to get the surgery first. It was kind of nice to hear Sharon acknowledging her cancer this week and preparing for her surgery, which presumably will be next week. I mean, I never wanted to watch Sharon suffer. I mean, it's nobody wants to watch a soap character suffer all day, every day. That would be depressing. But I always felt like if we were doing a cancer story, at least it could be educational. It could be somewhat realistic. I didn't ever want it to be a side note. And even something little like this week when Sharon was talking about her online support group or the type of dry shampoo that she is going to have to use after her surgery because she won't be able to take a bath or a shower. Those are at least a few small realities that I feel could give, some depth to what we know she's going through. I also didn't mind seeing her get a little bit irritable with Mariah. In Sharon's defense, I don't have cancer, and I think I would feel irritable with Mariah from time to time. But it all worked out. Rey and Tessa teamed up together to make sure that Sharon and Mariah worked it all out. I would say that they hugged it out, except, Corona. Tessa was back in town this week, and also Faith. I thought it was interesting to see a couple of new faces. I always appreciate that. And Faith, I think, has got to be the youngest cast member that we've had on set since the coronavirus breakout. I don't think that any of the other child actors have been back. Although less and less Faith is seeming like a child actor to me, because more and more she really seems like a young woman every time I see her now. Connor, on the other hand, last I checked, is still a child, and Adam and Chelsea are preparing to send him off to military school. Come on, we all know that St. Mary's is a military school. At least I hope it is, because I'm picturing little Connor doing push-ups at dawn. And his little friend Aiden, too. Oh, what a surprising, cordial run-in we had between Nick and Adam this week at Society. Adam asked Nick in almost an advice-seeking way if Nick had ever sent any of his kids off to boarding school. I just love, by the way, that boarding school is just, it's accepted as part of the common parenting practice. Like the culture of parenting in Genoa City is just, you do send them off. And Adam almost seemed to be seeking some advice about sending Connor off. And Nick responded that, well, Faith only went to boarding school for a little while, but Nick himself went to boarding school in Switzerland, and he loved it. Gave him exactly what he needed, which was to be raised with limited contact with Victor. Wow. Wow. Adam even went home and told Chelsea that he felt a little better about sending Connor off to boarding school because he knew someone who went to boarding school that turned out to be a pretty good guy. Wow, there's a turn for ya. Adam and Nick, future best bros? Is that what's gonna happen? Pretty good guy? I thought Adam hated Nick and Nick hated Adam. It was bizarre. Relationships are changing on a dime in this town. But I kind of like the idea of repositioning the allies here. If we have to go to war again with Victor, for what reason I still don't know, I think maybe it would be interesting to see Adam and Nick on the same side. That would really tick off Nikki and Victoria. Wouldn't mind seeing that. Victoria pays a visit to Billy this week to fill him in on the Adam Victor medication switcheroo story. Tells him that the pharmacist that Adam was working with is willing to talk. Well, Adam and Chelsea are listening to that whole conversation going down via that whole listening app that they both got on their phone, and they both agree that they have to put a stop to this part of the story coming out. So Adam tells Chelsea that he'll take care of it. He makes some mysterious phone call off on the side, tells some mystery person that he needs something taken care of, fast and quiet-like. Flash to Billy stopping by Alyssa's hotel room, and she's not there. Leaving the audience with this feeling of, what did Adam just do to Alyssa? As much as I like Alyssa, I have to admit, I got a little excited at the thought that maybe she might be dead. Isn't that horrible? But it's true. I thought to myself, ooh, now we might have a real murder mystery. Something that happened in real time, not 25 years ago. Kind of maybe would have been a good twist if Alyssa died. As much as I like her, I found that would have been an exciting, like, really great topic to kick Y&R Chat off with this week. Alyssa's dead. Oh, but one episode later, Billy gets a phone call from Alyssa. She's safe and sound and tells him she's ready to publish the story. Too bad Billy didn't know that before he marched over to Adam's penthouse to get up in Adam's face and tip his hand that he knows everything about AJ Montalvo. I mean, Billy basically told Adam that he is going to publish this story. So he's just given Adam another leg up on top of his other leg up. Billy doesn't know that Adam's already one step ahead of him, and now he's 2 steps ahead of him. Adam tells Chance that he planted a false lead that led Alyssa out of town. So presumably that took care of whatever info she was going to get from the pharmacist. But it sounds like he's got a few more tricks up his sleeve to stop the truth from coming out about the Vegas story. Adam and Chance made up this week. Man, they made up and break up. They made up and then they broke up and then made up. Like they were a super couple or something. Like this was a relationship or something. Last week, they had a confrontation that sounded so final. And then this week, they both wrote it off like it was nothing. Chance calls Adam to make up. And Adam actually asked for Chance's forgiveness for being so grumpy when they argued last week in the hotel room. I have a feeling that Adam was softening Chance up. I feel like Adam maybe thinks that he's going to need Chance in the near future, so he didn't want to completely burn the relationship. Like maybe Adam just realized he was being moody last week, but he actually needs Chance. Because in a way, Adam and Chance are stuck together. Until the end of time, they are going to be stuck together trying to cover up this guy's death. I don't know. I think I might prefer to see Chance and Adam working together. I like the fact that they're two totally different guys, but they're both working toward the same goal. They both have a common goal, but Chance is trying to stay on the side of the law, whereas Adam is not afraid to bend it. It's a good dynamic. All the while, Victoria is peeping around the edges of this secret. She's turning up the heat on Chance, hoping that she can get him to boil over. Victoria was pretty prickly with everyone on Friday. Did you notice that? She was prickly with Chance, with Nikki, with Abby, and with Chelsea. Victoria is not a very nice person right now. I find that I like her less and less. Victoria becoming a more unlikable person should be making her a more interesting soap opera character. I don't know if Y&R is accomplishing that with her, though. Victoria is not wrong for the way she feels. Let me be clear about that. Victoria is right to feel the way she feels, but I think she's wrong for the way she's acting and reacting. And I think that I would find Victoria and everything she's doing to be more entertaining if perhaps she were at least having some good sex on the side. I think I could accept her a little easier if I also saw her enjoying something in her new life. Sticking it to her enemies, yeah, that's good. But I'd like to see her do it with a wink and a smile and a good rump on the side. Like, closer to what Abby and Chance have been doing. Abby and Chance will be sneaky, but then they'll run off to the bedroom to work it out. That makes it fun for me. Although, I don't know, Abby's reaction to Chance saying that he might want to have kids someday, that seemed to squash a little bit of the sexy fun. The look on her face. It seems to be mutual that both Chance and Abby see each other in their futures, but it is interesting that maybe it never even occurred to Chance that kids might not be in Abby's vision of the future for herself. Maybe that's not what Abby defines as settling down. Maybe Abby doesn't want to settle down, because she was visibly weirded out by the fact that Chance would say that. It made me feel bad for him because he was being open and honest with her, and just seeing her reaction, I felt bad for him. She didn't say anything about it. Maybe she just needs a little bit of time to process and to ask herself if that is part of a vision that she could potentially see in the future with Chance, and if not, then maybe they just want separate things and should go separate ways. I'm sure we'll see next week, but this could be very telling. This is the fork in the road for Chance and Abby. Either she's gonna say, yeah, I'm into it, let's move forward, or she's gonna say, no, that's not what I want, I don't think we're right for each other. I'm with Abby. It's funny, Victoria used to be my favorite Newman daughter, but I think Abby's fast becoming it. I agreed with what Abby was saying to Victoria on Friday. Victoria, you won. You got it all, including Newman Enterprises. So why are you still hassling Adam? Especially when your beef is with your father anyway. I guess Nikki's gonna have to be the one to squash that part of the plan to protect Victor. Nikki overheard Victoria talking on the phone to Billy while they were plotting this whole story, and Nikki was able to get enough information out of Victoria to realize exactly what was going on. So Nikki stops by Chancecom, and she decides to put some pressure on Lily to try to get Lily to stop the story. What did you guys think of that? Nikki started off with a soft approach with Lily, but by the end, she got so bold as to say that she was very close with Neil, and she doesn't think that Neil would approve of the kind of work that Lily is doing. Whoa! Lily did not even want to hear it. You are not going to try to tell me what my father would have wanted or thought. Wow. But Nikki also did say that if Lily runs with the story, then Victor is going to find a way to grind Chancecom into the dust. She also was subtly telling Lily that she knows all of their vendors. I mean, all of the parts of Chancecom, Nikki and Victor know about because it used to be Newman Enterprises. So there is a possibility that there's some loophole, that there's some way that Victor can grind Chancecom into the dust. And this company and this career means everything to Lily. So I don't know what she's gonna do. I get the feeling that Lily doesn't fully know what Billy is planning, and by the time she has a chance to ask him, it might be too late. Summer and Kyle's double marriage proposal. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love that they both bought engagement rings for each other and that they both got down on one knee to propose marriage. I think that is such a fresh, modern twist on a marriage proposal. And I appreciate Y&R showing us something different. How many guys down on one knees have we seen over the years? This was a different approach. And I have to applaud Y&R for that. Summer and Kyle, I think, are cute. At this point, I like them together. I'm used to them being together. I think they make a good match. They were trying to keep the engagement a secret, though. So Summer put her engagement ring on a chain and was wearing it around her neck, but that did not stop the spy eyes of Phyllis. Phyllis spotted that engagement ring and she was falling all over the place, holding her heart, fanning herself, really turning up the drama over something that was obviously going to happen. Summer and Kyle were going to be living together. Wouldn't you also want them to be committed? Maybe not. Maybe Phyllis and Nick were hoping that it would all just fizzle out, or that Kyle would change his mind again. I know that that's what all the Y&R chatters are waiting for. But wow. The New York Times best-selling book, How to Be Mellow by Nick Newman, fell off the charts this week. What happened to the mellow Nick? Where'd he go? Where'd the guy go that was just spreading happiness and chill? Nick finds out about Summer and Kyle's engagement and he completely loses his cool. And I think it is really a funny twist that we spent the last 2 weeks building up Nick as the cool one and Phyllis as the angsty one, and then this week they completely swapped their roles, like 2 poles reversing, and now Phyllis has to be the one trying to bring the mellow while Nick is flipping out. It is going to be Phyllis's job to bridge that gap between daddy and daughter. I actually cried when Summer called Nick her hero. I don't know why, but I just felt how much it hurt her to think that she had disappointed her dad. And I was proud of her for expressing that, but then also defending her choice. She didn't back down. And she also brought up the fact that Nick has done the same thing with his life. Nick has certainly not spent his life playing by Nikki and Victor's rules, so why should she? I was proud of Summer in that moment, and I felt for Summer in that moment. It was surprising to me that Nick would be so upset over something so obvious. And it's surprising to me that mellow Nick would allow this to come between him and his daughter for even one moment. I mean, we know it's not going to last for very long. It'll all be resolved by next week, but I'm surprised that he even let it come between them for a moment. Phyllis has got some work to do. I think it really boils down to the fact that it's not even as much about Kyle and Summer for Nick. I think that Nick is thinking about his own failed marriages. There are many. And now he is in this new, in quotes, relationship with Phyllis, and maybe he doesn't know quite where to put it. Maybe he's got fears that it won't work out, and so I'm sure that Phyllis is gonna have to help him, work through it next week. She's gonna help him work through his feelings. They're gonna have some sex, and then Nick's gonna get his mellow back on track by Friday. Lola just so happens to be hiding in the bushes while Kyle and Summer are having their impromptu double marriage proposal in the park. What the heck was she doing there anyway? You mean to tell me that Lola was there by complete coincidence to witness Summer and Kyle's engagement? Grrr. Just grrr. I don't know about that, Y&R. Lola promptly went back to society and summoned Theo to the kitchen so that she could break up with him. I guess I've got to hand it to her on a level, because it sounds like she didn't like the person that she had become around him, all paranoid and needy. And if that's the case, if Lola just realized that she can't handle a relationship with Theo, then it's okay to walk away. It's just a shame that we spent so much time building up that Lola and Theo opposites attract magic, and now it seems like Lola and Theo's romance is maybe just a victim of coronavirus. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It seems like we came back from break, we sped right past their imaginary first date, and just jumped right into the fighting, had a behind closed door sex sesh, and now it's done. I guess Y&R just had other plans for them both. And they've done such a good job of causing friction between them that now the Y&R chatters don't even want them together. It seemed like we had a lot of support for Lola and Theo, but last week I asked you guys if you think that Lola and Theo are a good match now, and 69% of you said no. 69% think Lola and Theo are just not a good match, time to move on. 31% still like them together. I don't think there's any going back. I really think it's done. I mean, next week it could be a completely different story. They could be back together having some more sex by next week, but as it stands right now, it really does seem like it's over. So who do we want to see Theo having his fun and games with now? That's what I'm wondering, because I think that Lola is just not ready for a relationship right now, but Theo is still ripe for the picking. And I have a prediction. I have a prediction I'd like to share with you, and it is based on Y&R chatter comments too, but here's what I think's going on. I think that Adam has something else up his sleeve right now to deal with the whole Las Vegas thing. We saw him at the very end of Friday's show saying he was going to have to do something he was hoping he didn't have to do. Well, I think that what Adam has going on is that he just so happens to know a beautiful, young, smart, savvy grifter that he met in Las Vegas, and this person will be played by Courtney Hope. I think that Adam is going to bring her to Genoa City, pretending to be the mysterious widow of the dead guy, so that she can feed Alyssa and Chancecom a bunch of wrong information about anything that went down in Vegas. And eventually this wrong information will end up making Chancecom look illegitimate when the story about Adam comes out. But before the truth about this mystery woman is revealed, I think she's going to end up starting up a romance with Theo. Because, you know, they're both going to be roaming around the halls of Chancecom. That's where Theo works. Alyssa's probably going to come back into town with this mystery woman who is actually a grifter, who Adam has planted. And they're going to have meetings at the office. And then a few weeks from now, it's going to be revealed that she's just a total sexy con artist liar that has left Chancecom with egg all over its face, but that has left Theo head over heels. Who said it? The man I love is with his dead wife's twin, and I'm the last to know about it. Huh. Great line. The man I love is with his dead wife's twin, and I'm the last to know about it. Just great, great, great. That's some stellar writing. Well, without telling Elena, Devon calls Amanda over to their home, the penthouse. And Devon gives Amanda two things. Hillary's letter to Santa, a little bit of an emotional draw there, but a little more of a functional draw. Devon gives Hillary's birth certificate to Amanda, which interestingly, I think later in the episode revealed that Hillary was born in Evanston, which is Illinois. That's what it says on her birth certificate. But Amanda knows that she was found in Madison, Wisconsin at a fire station. So how did the twins end up in two different spots? So we have a little mystery there to unravel in the coming weeks, and I don't have any theories on that yet. So I'm just going to focus on the emotional parts of this story for now, because Devon hands Amanda these two documents, and then he tells her that's it. He's done. He has given her all of the info that he can, all of this drudging up of Hillary and the memories and the stuff. It's affecting his life, aka it's affecting his relationship with Elena. So Devon tells Amanda he needs to move on. Don't come around here no more. But then later that day, Nate stops by to check on Devon and tells him he should do whatever he wants when it comes to Amanda. And Elena will find a way to understand. So Devon whips out his cell phone right then and there. Nate's still sitting in the room, and calls Amanda back to the penthouse and says to her, hey, I know I told you an hour ago that I was done talking about Hillary with you, but everything's changed now, and I am ready to talk about Hillary with you and watch old GC Buzz episodes of Hillary with you and delve into personal, painful parts of my relationship with Hillary with you. Everything not only changes on a week-to-week basis, but it changes by the hour with these people. You know what, though? I actually agree with Nate's advice, and I'm glad that Devon did this. I think that Devon talking to Amanda could be really helpful and really healing for him. I will never forget and forgive the way that Nate and Elena pressured Devon after Hillary had died. And like, they were pressuring him to get rid of her things and to move on. And I felt like Devon was being forced to just get over Hillary before he was ready. I agreed that he needed the help and the counseling, but it just felt like Nate and Elena were there trying to just push him before he was ready, and I never liked that. And I feel now that Amanda is in the picture, Devon has somebody to talk to about Hillary. He never really had anybody else to talk to and remember Hillary with, and now he does. Now there's a new connection to Hillary, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. I mean, Mariah was maybe the closest person that Devon could ever talk to about Hillary, and we haven't heard Mariah mention Hillary's name in ages. So maybe Devon needs this just as much as Amanda does. In fact, I think that maybe Amanda should now send Devon a text message to his phone that says, "I know you think we crossed a line, but I needed that as much as you did." And then Elena should pick up the phone and say, "Well, what's this all about? What's this text message all about?" Elena would hit the roof. Worse than Chelsea did when the same thing happened between Adam and Sharon. Elena would really lose her mind. Ugh. I don't know about Elena, you guys. I think this is the perfect place for a poll question. Is Elena overreacting when it comes to Devon and Amanda? YRChat.com. That's the poll question for the week. Do you feel like Elena is overreacting and she just needs to relax? Or do you feel like Elena is right to be nervous? If this wasn't a soap opera world, and if we weren't, as fans, always anticipating the couple swap, and if this writing team didn't swap things so much, I would say that Devon is plenty mature enough to handle a few walks down memory lane about Hillary with Amanda, while still being wholly committed to Elena and still being fully present with Elena. I think Devon has demonstrated that he's okay. Devon has earned our trust here. Gosh, Devon is one of the most stable people on the show. But it is a soap world. And that tells me that it probably will be easy for Devon to get carried away, for Devon to get lost in his memories of Hillary while he's talking with Amanda, and maybe even transfer some of those feelings onto Amanda. Amanda has just fallen in love with her sister Hillary. She's falling in love with Hillary just like Devon once did. Amanda is at the beginning of her new world, and she is feeling fresh and invigorating, and her excitement is exciting. It's contagious. Hearing Amanda talk about Hillary, her excitement is contagious. So Devon is spending his day with passionate Amanda talking about passionate Hillary. And then he's spending his evenings with Elena, who is clearly depressed and insecure. I think that Nate was also right when he told Elena that the biggest threat to her relationship with Devon isn't Amanda. It's her imagination, it's true. Because the more Elena walks around with pouty face, the bigger of a drag she becomes to be around. And yeah, who wouldn't rather hang out with fresh and exciting Amanda over depressed and insecure and pouty Elena? If it wasn't a soap world, I would say that Elena is totally overreacting here. Devon's not doing anything wrong by remembering his wife or talking with his wife's sister, who he just found out about. He's not doing anything wrong. And oh boy, he did have some memories of Hillary come flooding back to him this week. There was this beautiful sequence of flashbacks on Thursday's show that got me kind of excited. But I trust Devon, and I don't think that Devon is going to be the one to cross a line. I think that Elena is going to be the one to cross the line here, because she is feeling so insecure about herself with Devon, while Nate is over on the side giving her so much positive reinforcement. Every single week he is telling her how great she is. And I don't know. I could see Elena mistaking that, or transferring that, or having a moment of weakness with Nate. It would be easy to do. Nate is such a hunk. I mean, damn. I remember when they cast him, I was thinking, he's just a pretty face. But the longer I have stared at his pretty face, the more I'm like, he's the biggest hunk on the show right now. And he is totally underutilized. I could completely fall in love with Nate. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting, because I love that we got a little bit more of his story this week. I mean, I don't know why he doesn't have more story, but that's all it's going to take. If they start giving me some story for Nate, I'm done. I mean, he was talking to Nate about his ex, the one who died, or what did I say? Nate's talking to Amanda about his, sorry, he does that to me, no lie. He's talking to Amanda about his ex who passed away, and I was just lost in it. And then he also was talking about the fact that he was Hillary's doctor, and that he was making decisions around her situation when Hillary died. And I don't even think we've had this version of Nate acknowledge ever that he was Hillary's doctor, because it wasn't this version of Nate who was Hillary's doctor. Nate, ever since they recast him with this actor, has been a complete island unto himself. He is in scenes, but he has never had a story of his own. So I think that they're working on it. The fact that they had him talking a little bit and opening up this week tells me that Y&R's working on it. And I think that what Nate's story is about to be is his conflict between helping Devon get and keep his life together, while at the same time being attracted to Elena, which could tear Devon's life apart. I love you, you idiot. I really truly thought that was going to be a hard Who Said It quote, because it was so jarring to me. I love you, you idiot. Because that's just, it's not the kind of I love you that I would ever on any planet want to receive. If anyone ever said to me, I love you, you idiot, I would take that so offensively. Like, don't tell me something nice and then it's like what do you call it? It's like a backhanded compliment. I love you, you're an idiot. That would not fly with me. So maybe that's why the line stuck out to me. But assumed it stuck out to everyone else and that I'd be reading this long list of winners for last week's Who Said It quote. But a lot of people thought it was Phyllis. And that didn't occur to me either. Like, Nick and Phyllis had their first I love yous last week. And it totally sounds like something that Phyllis would have said. Or even it could have been something that Summer would have said. Yeah, I don't know why that didn't occur to me, but it was Chelsea. Chelsea, during her marriage proposal to Adam, he was saying, like, why do you want me or something? And she said, because I love you, you idiot. Gosh, I thought that was going to be easier, but it was 9 people who guessed it, not everyone. Jamie, Heather, Henry, Daisy, Keisha, Kamna, Tommy, Ambreen, and Diana. You guys all heard it, and you nailed it. That was very good. I love a surprise, so that made me happy. That as soon as I saw guesses coming through for other people, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense that you would think that, but no. Wrong. Here's a new one. I don't know. This one might be tough. Who said it? I'm your secret weapon. Ooh. I'm your secret weapon. Who said it? If you think you know, you can go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Comments. TB84 commenting about Amanda and Elena's relationship, saying, and just right after a day spent in the spa, aka the Grand Phoenix Escape Club, Amanda and Elena were on their way to becoming best buddies. Now they will become worst enemies. Sigh. The world of soaps is brutal. Yeah, I know. Amanda and Elena were kicking it, really getting along, being relaxed, being friendly, and just like that, it is all blown up. Tiffany says, let's be real. Absolutely none of us were surprised when Amanda turned out to be Hillary's twin. And if you claim you were, well, then you're new to the soap world, aren't you? Besides that point, I'd really like to see Mariah talk to Amanda about what she's feeling, seeing as how Mariah came to town unknowingly, pretending to be her own long-lost twin that she never got to know. I feel like it's something they could bond over. Whoa, I never made that connection at all. Tiffany, I completely forgot that Mariah came to town pretending to be Cassie. Yeah, that was a twin twist. And Mariah has this very obvious connection that she could be making to Amanda, who is also in a twin twist. I do really want to see those two come together. I think that if Y&R is going to be showing so much of Amanda and Devon spending time together talking about Hillary, which is understandable, I think they also need to show Amanda seeking out other places. Otherwise, it does make Amanda look like she's leaning too hard on someone like Devon when everybody has told her he might be a little shaky on this topic. I think it might be a little kinder of Amanda to seek out some information from Mariah or anybody else, but especially when it comes to Juicy Buzz, Mariah would be a good person to have watched that episode with. It was a little presumptuous of her to say, can you watch this episode with me? Why don't you go home and watch it and then bring back your questions? Do you really? It was almost like Devon was not being forced, but he was being pulled a little bit into watching that episode, and I don't want to get bad vibes or inappropriate vibes in any way from Amanda. If Amanda and Devon get pulled back together, I am all for it. But I definitely want it to be slow and meaningful, and I want to see Amanda doing her research and not just leaning on Devon. Well, Daisy has a very good theory here, a couple of different good theories actually, about what could be going on with that birth certificate. Daisy says, I don't think there's a reason yet why Amanda was separated from her biological parents. We know Hillary said and believed that she was raised by her biological mother, and Amanda was told that she was left at a fire station. That doesn't make any sense. What would make sense is that Hillary and Amanda's parents each took a child and chose not to tell the twins about the other. Or they had planned to tell, but Amanda's father, the twins' biological father, died, which is when someone left her at a fire station. And Hillary's mother, the twins' biological mother, could not find Amanda and searched for her until the day she died, never telling anyone of her loss. Another scenario might be that Amanda and Hillary were kidnapped at birth and sold, then raised in two different households far from each other. The fire station could be a cover story. And if they were kidnapped, maybe Hillary and Amanda's biological parents are still alive, or siblings, an extended family. I hope they go in this type of direction for Amanda so that she will finally have a biological family in her life. I think that is going to be the direction. I think you're hitting on a couple of good notes there, Daisy. I do think that however Y&R decides to explain the birth certificate, I do think it's headed in the direction of giving Amanda some bonus family members for this town. That would be my guess. I've also seen a lot of theories over the past week just straight up thinking that Amanda is Hillary, which is certainly still a possibility that there was some kind of switcheroo or some who knows why, but that Hillary is still alive and she had amnesia and that she's going to discover that she is Hillary. I'm not sure which I like more. Would we like to believe that Amanda's the twin and maybe give her some family, or would we like to believe that Amanda is Hillary? I think I might prefer the twin. Just because Hillary's character had a lot of baggage. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to keep her as Amanda. But either way, I am looking forward to the mystery on this. This is something that, even though the twin twist was obvious, I do think that a lot of the emotions that's surrounding the story has been done very well so far. I think probably the Amanda Devon scenes for the week were the thing that got me the most into the show. I think that's probably the thing I had the most to say about. I like that we're finally getting some depth from Nate being in there and Elena being in there, and I think this is good so far. There are other storylines that I cannot say that about. Let's switch topics. Diana says, I wonder if Y&R may be foreshadowing a new business adventure for Sharon and Rey in the near future. Rey mentioned to Sharon about the two of them renovating houses together, as apparently Sharon likes those home renovation shows. Could it be? I would love that. Honestly, I would love that, because we don't really need two cops in this town. Do we? I mean, Chance is obviously going to be the new cop, and we don't really even see Rey doing any of that. And Rey is far more domesticated than I ever realized, so I could see Rey and Sharon becoming partners. I wouldn't mind seeing Rey at the coffee house more. Gosh, the coffee house looked so good this week. And Sharon's home looked so good this week. I just felt really warm on those sets. I really am liking the coffee house remodel. I really, really am. It needed the update, and I have to say, just even being months down the road on it, I think Y&R did a good job of being faithful to the original set while updating some of the things that needed to be updated. I'm always looking at that case at the counter with all of the muffins. There was a black and white cookie in there this week, and it does seem like they rotate it. We had a server behind the counter who was actually rotating some stuff in and out. She was fingering the muffins, which I noticed and didn't like. But at least it was I got the impression that, okay, at least they're not keeping that part of the set stagnant. I'm very pleased with it. I really enjoyed being in the coffee house this week. I would like to be in the coffee house more. I would like to be above the coffee house more. Those sets are gorgeous. And Brini says, I think it would be a great full circle moment if Rey was there for Sharon through the cancer and they became a stronger couple in the way that it's completely opposite of what happened when Cassie died. These are two major moments in Sharon's life. Cassie's death, major moment in Sharon's life, destroyed her relationship with Nick. Surviving breast cancer, major moment in Sharon's life, bringing her and Rey together. I like that. I like that full circle idea. Oh boy, Sherrod says, Allie, in a previous chat, you stated that you read or heard somewhere that Mariah makes a decision that affects her relationship with Tessa. Well, it seems that she takes Lola for a girls' night out, apparently without Tessa. I wonder if she takes her to the Matchbox, where Lindsay is supposedly still working. I've said it before, and I will say it again. I do not believe someone in Soapland, and Mariah in this instance, when they say that they will never cheat on you again. Thank you, finally, Sherrod. I never saw anything else about that. I saw a blurb, never found anything else, and so thank you so much for filling that piece in, because I saw that Tessa came back this week. She had a couple of nice scenes. It was a nice scene with her and Mariah. I liked that Mariah had someone to talk to. Tessa was looking very, very gorgeous there. I liked seeing her team up with Rey, being kind of nice, you know, helping the Mariah and Sharon reunion along. But in the back of my head, it was still nagging me. What's going on with these two? Is Mariah going to take Lola to the Matchbox? We did speculate last week or the week before that it does seem like Mariah and Lola are having a lot of scenes together. It is a possible direction. I could see it. Well, wait, are you saying that you think that Mariah might cheat again with Lola, or that she might cheat again with Lindsay, or just somebody at the Matchbox? I think Lindsay's gone. I don't think they're going to bring her back. But if they are going to develop a new relationship for Mariah, I almost would think maybe they would possibly consider with Lola. I don't know. Let's move on to Victoria. Jamie says, Victoria, you go, girl. Billy totally deserved to hear the shade thrown at him. No one is without character flaws. However, Billy is notorious for tanking his own happiness. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned this, Jamie, because there was that brief scene where Billy was trying to tell Victoria that maybe if she had listened to him all along about Victor, then they'd still be together. And what Victoria said to him in response was, hey, don't even try it. The biggest problem in our relationship was you, okay, not my father. And that was some just desserts served upon Billy right then and there. I did like that. And also, I felt kind of glad that it didn't seem as if Billy and Victoria were softening on the topic of their relationship. I don't want them back together. No way. It is over. If I were her, I wouldn't take him back either. I think the Billy and Victoria, we tried it with these two. It was fine, but it didn't wow me. I'd really just rather see Victoria having someone new to light her fire. She has no fire. She's all ice. She needs something other than a vendetta. Victoria says, okay, now be honest. How many of you chatters thought that Adam had Alyssa whacked? I had a strong feeling that Adam didn't have Alyssa killed, but I was thinking maybe he had her kidnapped. I figured figured on top of everything, they're not going to show or have an implication there that Adam just killed her. But I could have seen him having her kidnapped. I mean, that's a no biggie. A kidnap would have just been a side note. Here's an interesting comment from Superplex who says, I have a sneaky suspicion that Alyssa has been fooling Billy into believing that she is as much into bringing Adam down as he is. And in fact, she's been working with either Adam or Victor into sabotaging Billy's fantasy of making Adam pay once and for all. Superplex, it is strange that Alyssa called Billy, I want to say it was at the end of Thursday's show, she called Billy to say that the story was ready. But then the next day, I think Friday, Adam revealed to Chance that he had set up a no-show interview for Alyssa. So either Alyssa found something else in that time frame, or maybe she is working with Adam. I don't know. I thought that was strange. It seemed like on Thursday, Alyssa's story was done. It was a success. And then Friday, for the opener, Adam is revealing that no, it wasn't. It was a ruse. But maybe this is where my theory about the mystery woman comes in. Maybe Alyssa only thought she talked to somebody who was giving her more good info. But the trip that Alyssa went on Thursday was supposed to be about the pharmacist, not about Vegas. I can't keep it all straight. Victoria also says, Lily, nice job of putting Nikki in her place. Using Neil's memory to try to convince you to stop Billy was not classy. Unfortunately, Nikki didn't stop, and she threatened, Victor Newman will crush you. I hope Lily digs in and Y&R ups the ante to give us a to give us a great, surprising story. We are expecting Lily to scold Billy, aren't we? But maybe it would be more interesting if she encourages him. Maybe it would be more interesting if what Nikki said to her fueled her to just go ahead and do whatever she's gonna do. That might make for something a little, more nuanced for Lily's character. Ellen, Adam Newman's attorney, says, oh good, print the drug tampering story. Then Adam can give an exclusive to a competing outlet about how gum-chewing Billy tried to run him over. And Sandra adds, remember not so long ago that Billy was tied up in the Chancellor Pool House exercising his demons in regards to Adam? Now it's full steam ahead, drudging up Adam's past sins. And Ellen responds, it's Victor's fault for never bringing the family together and explaining that Adam didn't tamper with his meds out of the blue. He believed that Victor hired someone to run him down and kill him. They were in a war against each other. Victor walks around letting everyone believe that Adam was unprovoked. Why? To protect Billy Boy? Am I forgetting something? No, I don't think you are. This is a great point. Victor has never even mentioned to his family or to us lately that there was more to that story, that the reason Adam tampered with Victor's meds was because he thought Victor had tried to run him over. Like, I had completely forgot about what led up to the drug tampering story, and I don't think that Y&R really wants us to remember. I think the only reason that the drug tampering thing even got brought up this week is because Y&R just was looking for a way to toss some more garbage on the fire. They don't really want you to dig too deep into any of it or explain the actions of any of it. It's just boom, boom, boom with these writers. such as how they just out of the blue sent Connor to boarding school after he was just a troubled kid who really needs his family right now. Gary says, sending Connor off to boarding school is the most awkward of plots. Desperately seeking family unity, Connor was recently reunited with his real mommy and daddy under one roof. And Y&R is trying to pull one over on us, the audience, to think that prep school is a good idea for this particular kid at this particular time. They even got both Nick and Victor to give it a thumbs up. If Chelsea and Adam don't want Connor caught in a crossfire between themselves and a war with Billy and Adam, Connor's grandfather, then abandon the war. That would have been their decision 3 months ago when Connie was hanging on by a thread. Not that much has changed. That's the thing. And okay, I like the boarding school trope. It is fun to me. Just it amuses me. But there's also another universe where it actually kind of bothers me, and it's probably mostly because now I have a kid, but it bothers me sometimes that the kids aren't even humans. They are literally just little chess pieces brought on to get sick or to be screwed up just to further a plot. I mean, I would imagine that Y&R has a lot of fans who have children at various stages, and yet there are never any real parenting stories on the show. We never see a real dig into it kind of parenting storyline. I mean, why not? I'm sure you could find something exciting and relatable to do around that. It's just, I think that a lot of the show right now is plot and drama focused and getting that moment. You want that big moment, but there's not a lot of long-term stretching, long-term story telling. There's not a lot of relatability. There's not, I think it's Y&R right now and where it is not meant to sink your teeth into too deeply. And maybe that's where the trap is, for me doing this every week, is don't think about it too hard. Don't overthink it, Allie. Because they sure aren't. Sandra also says, to add to that, Chelsea literally damaged her relationship with Nick in order to spend time with Connor whilst he was living with Adam. When Calvin suggested that Connor should go live with Adam, Chelsea flipped her lid, saying he was her child and belonged with her. The whole point of moving back in with Adam, pre-admitting she still had feelings for him, was to give Connor a solid, stable home life. I usually go with the flow when it comes to Y&R, but this dramatic choice of Chelsea's to send Connor away is a lot to accept. What did she say? So proud that she's convinced another Genoa Junction mom to have her son go along to boarding school? Oh, yeah. It's like, you gotta forget about what happened 3 months ago. Hell, you gotta forget about what happened last week in order to get on board with the show right now. Gary says also, Christian! Now there's a name we haven't heard in a while. I forgot he existed. Maybe he could go room with Connor at boarding school, and Connor can keep him in the garage. Christian, yes, that name came up this week. It's weird because Nick and Phyllis were talking about Christian and how much Phyllis enjoyed spending the day with Christian. I don't think we've ever seen Phyllis with Christian for even one moment. And Nick and Phyllis have been back together for a while. I mean, of course, we know coronavirus presents some challenges, so maybe we should just be happy that Y&R mentioned Christian at all. Kamna says about the Theo and Lola poll, I like them as a couple, but As for right now, Theo totally deserves to be treated better. Lola's mixed messages and passive-aggressive behavior is getting old. Ambrini says, I like them together, but not when Lola is being a baby. Why does Lola expect men to apologize to her when they haven't done anything wrong? That's annoying and not the tough chick that we all like or that's fun to watch. Theo being great to her, and if Theo is being great to her, and if Lola doesn't wise up, then Theo should dump her. Well, that's not quite what happened. Isn't it funny that we all kind of had this collective feeling that Lola was the one being the brat, and you almost would have expected that Theo would have chosen to dump her, but that is not what happened. It was just the opposite. Ellen says Lola deserved Theo's parting words, but perhaps she's just so hurt after Kyle's betrayal that she's incapable of trusting any man right now. She needs to go back to focusing on her career, recovering her self-esteem, and growing up a bit more. It's interesting that you mentioned Theo's parting words, because he said something to the effect of, well, I hope you can find someone who will live up to your high standards. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, is that a fair point? It probably is a fair point. It's a fair shot to send across the bow after getting broken up with, because they're at the point where Lola and Theo decided to end it, I'm asking myself, what more can he do? What more possibly can he do to reassure her without compromising who he is? And maybe that's why it was merciful that Lola decided to break it off, so that Theo didn't continue to do that, and so that she didn't continue to also sacrifice who she is to try to be with him. I don't know, or compromise who she is to be with him. I mean, I think that Lola is who she is, and if insecure right now is part of it, then that's what it is. Lisa115 says, I voted no. This relationship's going nowhere. I thought they would make an interesting couple, but the writers are making Lola into a shrew. I would like to see Theo and Victoria get together. I thought the encounter between them was very intriguing. Victoria needs a young stud to take her mind off of all the family drama. And it would be much more interesting than wondering if she joined the escape club. Yeah, Victoria needs an escape from her clothes. I just made that up on the fly. That was pretty good. Victoria's grand escape is an escape from her clothes. Marianne V says, I see I'm in the minority, but I voted yes. Lola and Theo make a good couple because they're so different. Every couple on soaps has conflicts and good times. Lola and Theo deserve a chance. You know, Marianne V, I also voted yes. I voted yes for Lola and Theo being a good match. I wonder if the votes started to sway as the week went on, because I almost want to say it was Monday or Tuesday when Lola broke it off with him. And I wonder if things started to just sway to, you know what, no, they're not a good match, let's move on, I'm sick of it. But if Lola and Theo had another makeup session this week, I wonder what the results would have been. But I'm with you, I do like opposites, I think they attract. But more so, Gary says, even before Kyle dumped Lola, Y&R put a lot of TLC into grooming Lola and Theo to have some kind of a relationship. And it is another miss to just drop it all now without more of a story. That also is what gets me, Gary, because it wasn't Lola and Theo's relationship didn't just start the moment they started dating. The entire downfall of Lola and Kyle's marriage was also seeped in the issue of Lola wanting to befriend Theo and trying to reach out to Theo and bridge the gap between Kyle and Theo. So the whole length of Lola and Theo's relationship was pretty long. in soap terms, and it feels like we were just getting to the punch. I mean, we worked for months on this, and we were just getting to the punch, and it just, the rug just got ripped out from under us. And I think maybe that's why I'm upset most of all about it. Just the sheer amount of time that went into building this to now just be done with it. Sherrod says, Lola is not some unaware young woman of the world. She knows exactly what she's doing to get what she wants. This is the same person who shouted her own mother down when the woman suggested some makeup and wardrobe changes. For everyone out there blaming Kyle for Lola's behavior, no. This is whom she's always been, and I have a feeling she's just getting started with the dumping of Theo. Isn't that interesting? That, yeah, I mean, Lola probably has always been this way, so maybe that just means that Theo was not a good match for her all along. But you think that Lola is just getting started. I mean, there's got to be something more for her. What the heck is it gonna be? What is it gonna be? Well, Daisy says Summer's taking a huge risk. Kyle has already betrayed her. Kyle seems to flourish while falling in love, but when it comes down to being in a long-term relationship, like marriage, he seems to get bored and his eyes wander. But even though it looks like Summer's heart will be broken, I wish Nick had accepted her decision and stood by her side. Summer's gonna need a soft place to land when Kyle gets bored. So is that where it's headed, Daisy? Is that where Lola is headed? Back to Kyle? I heard a preview for next week that Kyle and Lola are supposed to have some bonding time next week. And if Y&R sends us back into a Lola, Kyle, Summer triangle right now, I think I might scream. This flip-flopping is so hard to wrap your brain around. I do think the fact that the stories change so quickly that it really makes the continuity suffer. You're just supposed to forget about what happened before, maybe a little sooner than in the past. I mean, look, I can forget about something that happened years ago and get on board with a new story, but I mean, literally, you're just supposed to forget about something that happened weeks or months ago. We had this really long coronavirus gap, which added some time to the seemingly what we had. But, I mean, really, truly, Lola and Kyle were together not that long ago. In fact, their divorce isn't even finalized yet. And my goodness, next week, if we're going to have a little heart-to-heart between Kyle and Lola, that almost makes me wonder if the speculation of next week is going to be that Lola's going to be right back into a triangle there, and then maybe Summer will get paranoid. But I don't know why Summer would even feel paranoid about losing Kyle to Lola. She got Kyle from Lola. I do not know. I do not know. Some stories switch before I'm ready, and some stories drag on way too long. Another good example of that is Jack and his story with Dina. I've been complaining probably for about 2 or 3 weeks in a row that I'm just really tired of the Dina mysteries, and I'm ready to see Jack move on with a romance. But I have to say, I got a really good counterpoint from Gary this week, who said, you know, Allie, you said it would be nice if Jack could move beyond and just go forward with his own life and romance. Of course, if this were real life, but it's a soap, and I find it refreshing in a way, even though it seems surprising that Jack would be obsessing about his mother. Because anybody can have a romance. He's had hundreds of romances, but it's just kind of interesting to see a soap opera character focus or obsess on something like their dying mother, which you're usually not going to see on a soap. Jack's taking an interest in plunging into her life and her history and what he can do for her instead of himself. It's only a small part of the show, but it's kind of a feel-good thing as opposed to just another romance. I never would have looked at it that way, and I'm going to try to look at it that way next week, because we saw in the previews that Tracy has this little glint in her eye, and she's telling Jack that she's found the secret to the mystery of the emerald necklace that Dina was wearing in the video that was sent from France. How did we even get to getting the video? I'm trying to remember how we even pulled the video from France. It's always it's the one little step forward, and the slowest little journey that we could possibly take. And I'm gonna try. I promise I'm gonna try. The only counterpoint I'm gonna say to this right now is that yes, if it was reality, I think it is a different scenario, but also in terms of soap operas, this has been going on for years. This is not something that's been, I mean, even forget about the coronavirus gap. This story has been going on for years. Since the beginning of Dina's Alzheimer, we've been on the Dina mystery train. And it's just at a certain point, I need something different. I mean, it doesn't, I don't know, you call it feel good thing. It doesn't feel good to me. It's sort of making me want to rip my skin off. Just to get out of it. But I also wonder, I saw somebody had commented at the website this week that Marla Adams is doing some social distancing. Like, she maybe is choosing to not be a part of the show right now because she's wanting to take special precautions with her health, which is totally understandable. And maybe that's the reason why Y&R is stretching right now, trying to create a little more Dina story, because there's not much else they can do. At this point, they either have to acknowledge it, which they don't. I mean, they don't even have to do this. They could just not mention it for a little while, and nobody's going to ask. Just, she's at Alzheimer's, she's at home, she's fine. But I guess, from their perspective, they either need something to do to stretch this out, especially since they can't really go full steam ahead on anything with Marla Adams if she's not available to come back to set. We'll see next week. Let's see what the emerald necklace reveals next week. I will do my best to watch it through more positive eyes. I promise I will do that. But here's another little bit of good news from Sandra, who says, Superplex! You'll be getting an early Christmas present. Gloria is set to return shortly. Yes! I saw this news too. Judith Chapman is going to be returning as Gloria! Gloria! Glorious! I don't know what her air date is going to be. Could be next week, could be 2 weeks. I'm not sure, but I'm going to guess it will connect in with Kevin and Chloe and the birth of their baby. I'm imagining that Grandma Glow will want to be there for the birth of the grandchild, but can't we still dream that maybe Gloria will have a few scenes with Jack? Maybe have a quickie to help take his mind off of all this Dina-ing? Oh, okay. Okay, all right, I'll stop. Oh, goodness, it's your turn. I now pass the baton to you. Go to yrchat.com and let me know what you think of this week's show. I hope you all are enjoying your fall. I hope you're able to get outside and enjoy some of the beautiful weather. It's just the most perfect time of year, isn't it? It's not too hot, not too cold. I much prefer my winter wardrobe, so I'm happy to be able to put on some sweaters. I was very happy this week that my heat kicked on for the first time, and I just sort of love that smell of the heater going in the air, and it just makes me feel all cozy. Oh, and then when I sleep, I can really bundle on the blankets and just get buried up in the bed and just get some hardcore hibernation sleep going. Fall's the best. I hope you guys are having a good one and that you come back next week to see me. There's still a lot of fall left. Okay, you guys, have a good one. I love